ladies, back to our health and fitness theme in my group, and today I wanted to talk to you about setting goals. I'm sure you've heard before that there's such a thing as setting SMART goals, and SMART is really just an acronym. It stands for S as in specific, M measurable, A attainable, R realistic, and T timely. So really what this boils down to is relatively simple, but most people overthink it. So say for example, I haven't worked out in multiple years, I'm unable to do a simple push-ups on my knees, but I want to be able to do a push-up on my feet. That's just one example. I'm not going to be able to, say in a week's worth of time, be able to go from doing absolutely nothing to being able to do one good push-up on my feet. So the way to be specific is to say, okay, my goal is to do that one push-up on my feet. But how do I measure that progress, right? It's not about just setting the goal, because the goal can just be floating around out there. You got to have a plan to actually reach that goal. So for me, in that case, with this example, it would be, okay, you start out with push-ups on your knees. And at first you might only be able to do 2. Then eventually you work your way up to 5 and 7 and so forth until you get to a decent amount of number where you think, maybe I can now attempt to do 1 on my feet. So that would be a way to make it realistic and to break your long-term goal up into smaller goals. So the specific part of it would be that one push-up you want to do on your feet. The measurable part would be the steps in between you take doing modified push-ups and increasing your number. Attainable means I don't go from not being able to do a single push-up in any modified version whatsoever to being able to do 20. So it's attainable because I'm only setting the goal of doing 1 on my feet with those steps in between to reach that goal. And that is realistic. And then to really drive it home and keep that motivation to reach your goals, you also want to set a deadline. So if I know I haven't done anything in a while, for me that would mean, okay, being able to do that one push-up is probably going to take me a couple weeks. So maybe the first week I try to do 5 on my knees. Then by the second week I try to get that number up to be able to do that daily 7 repetitions on my knees, and then 10. And then by week 3 or 4 I should be able to attempt to do 1 on my feet. So that's one example of how you want to set SMART goals. So it's not a matter of just saying, oh, I want to lose these 25 pounds or I want to run this 5K. Well, that's great, that can be your long-term goal, but how are you going to get there? You need to have a deadline on it to keep you motivated, and you need to break it up into smaller chunks so that you can measure your progress, especially for the days when you're not motivated to do it. And that way you are reaching smaller goals along the way to reach that final big goal. I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. Of course, I'm going to post this in my group and we can discuss more details as well. If you have a specific goal in mind and you don't know how to break it up, just let me know and ask away. That's what I do. I am a personal trainer after all too, not just a stress management coach. So you got the 2-for-1 deal here, so ask away. Talk to you ladies soon.